Hi guys, so this morning we're going to be looking at the hold and take a trick. You can call it whichever you like. I use the cue hold. And basically all that we're looking for is that a dog can hold an object in his mouth and then release the object to you in exchange for a cookie. So to get started with this trick, you want to use an object that your dog is happy to hold already. So ideally a toy or something like that. And as they progress through the stages of this trick, you can then move on to objects that are a little bit more difficult to hold, different materials, things that make a sound when they bite onto it. But for now, just something that they really are happy to stick their mouths over. And what you basically want to do is to try and make this object as interesting as possible. So we really want to play with our dogs, make the object as interesting as you can, and as soon as they stick their mouth anywhere close to that object, you're going to reward them with a sweetie. And again, guys, as with all of our training, it really doesn't matter how silly you look and how silly you feel. The important part about our training is that you're having fun with your dog and that your dog is having fun with you. So once you see your dog is happily taking the object in his mouth, we want to start adding a little bit of duration onto this. Again, it doesn't have to be a minute long. We only are looking for 1 or 2 seconds after which we're going to reward. So be ready with your cookies, and as soon as you take the object from his mouth, just pop a cookie in there and let him know that they've done something fantastic. So as this can be quite a still and focus-driven exercise, if you see that your dog starts to just lose a little bit of interest, it's fine to go back to the beginning and just kind of rev them up again and try and get them a little bit excited about the exercise. It's always fine to take a few steps back if you think that things aren't going completely the way that they should be going. Here you guys can see that Charlie's actually starting to get the idea behind the entire trick. So we want to start adding a little bit of duration. We're not looking for a minute, we are simply looking for an extra few seconds. And if you guys see that your dog drops the object at any time, don't give them a treat, and also just think about how you can make it a little bit easier for them. So instead of going for 3 seconds, rather go for 2 seconds and then really reward them for doing an excellent job. So I like to make use of jackpot training, and this basically means if my dog does something completely and utterly amazing, I'm going to give him 3 cookies instead of 1. So if you are managing to get extra duration, you really want to reward that and even give them a handful if need be. But your tool is your cookie and your treat. So the more forthcoming we are, the more they are going to learn from that. So once you can see that your dog really has an understanding of the hold and the duration of the hold, we can start transitioning this and getting your dog into doing a hold but in different positions. So here I'm getting Charlie to transition from a stand to a sit and then back to a stand while still having the object in his mouth. So because we're now adding to the complexity of this trick, you want to now then reduce things like duration and focus on the actual movement of his body. Again, try and make some elements simpler, try and make things more tricky, but you want to have a balance so that your dog is still able to succeed in all of your training attempts. So here you guys can see Charlie dropped the object, so I've obviously made it too difficult. So I'm just going to backtrack and make it a little bit easier and go back to the beginning steps of the trick, just to maintain his confidence. We don't want to dampen it at all, but rather keep him enthused about the entire training process. And always very important, have a good playing session with your dog after they've done really well. And now it's the Border Collie's turn. So here we have Ollie just demonstrating the same things that we ran through with Charlie. But because she is a Border Collie, she has that natural instinct and she is so piqued and interested by movement. So you can see the clear difference in terms of how I can make the toy interesting and exciting for her to want to engage in. And also really important to remember, guys, that all dogs are different. They all have different interests. So it's up to you to really try and identify what those interests are and use them in your training to really have the best possible outcome. So while you guys are doing any kind of training work, you also just need to bear in mind that your body language plays a huge role in the entire training game. So what you can see is as soon as I give Ollie the object, I almost freeze with my body language to try and also get her to hold the object a little bit longer and to just try and keep still as much as possible. So as your dog progresses, you can again alter your body language and make this a little bit more difficult for them. But for now, keep it light, easy breezy, and have fun with your dogs.